it's not pumping 5,000. It's pumping 5,000 right there at the pump. It sucks it in, blows it out that hose. If you add anything to that hose, you've decreased that pressure. Okay? So always overbuy on your pumps. If you have 100 gallons worth of water, you don't want a 100 gallon an hour pump. You want a 300 gallon or 400 gallon an hour pump. You want a 3 or 4 times the amount, at least double. And the reason I do 3 or 4 times is because what if I want to add another tank to it? Suppose I went over to, what is it, Bo's over at Texaplast there in Conroe. And I went over and I said, hey Bo, I need another one of these 275 gallon totes here, and I'm going to put 2 of them together. Now do I want to go spend another $75 for another pump? No. I'm going to buy a bigger pump, put them 2 together and use the same pump. I just saved myself $75. And building a whole nother tank. I got a whole bunch more tomatoes I can sell for 50 cents a pound. Boy, I'm already counting my chickens. Or my eggs, or whatever it is. Let's see, that's 60 plants. Let me put the calculator in. I brought my calculator. Because Fred the other day, when he come over, he asked me a bunch of calculating questions. And I had my calculator in the house. So let me see. 8 to 10 pounds per plant. So let's say 9 times 60. 540. That's 540 tomatoes.
270. Well,
So that's
how much do your tomatoes weigh?
that's the point. Now, let's say these tomatoes only weigh 4 ounces.
Okay.
So that's going to be $135 worth of tomatoes coming off that tank. How much does that tank cost me to run? How much maintenance am I putting into that tank?
Minimal.
Exactly. I'm 10 minutes a day tops. So,
How much does it cost to run the tank? How much electricity?
this greenhouse right here costs $150 a month.
Wow, for the entire greenhouse.
That's everything.
That is.
And so I have to generate enough income to cover that cost. But fortunately, like I said, I'm a disabled veteran, so I get a check from VA and I get a check from Social Security, and because I'm a disabled veteran, I don't have to pay income tax and I don't have to pay property tax. So I'm living a great life.
Kenny, go ahead.
It extends your growing season. Are you going to be harvesting year long, even during the winter months?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes. Now I do have to heat some days, and I've looked at the heat problem, and I'll be honest with you, right now I'm looking at a windmill to generate to run the power to heat electrically, because all I'm going to heat is the water. I'm not going to heat the air.
Keep the roots warm.
Right. If I heat the water and I keep it at 70 degrees, my fish think it's springtime, they're going to breathe more often. And not only that, the water will keep the greenhouse warm. So the plants will be happy, fish will be happy, and I guess I'm going to have a bunch of little babies running around somewhere. Hopefully.
So do you come out and like grab the fish and go in and cook it for dinner?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not eating no koi.
Now, the koi are actually, they've got a lot of meat on them, but they are, they're carp. 1, they're bony, and 2, they're bloody, and 3, they're ornamental, and,
They probably all have names.
At one time I had been categorized in the whole bit, and then you just lose track of them because they start breeding and...
Okay.
oh yeah. Now, they name them, the styles of koi, by their colors. So whatever colors they are, that's how they name them. And I used to have a little book about that thick with all the colors and all the names. You look at one and you say, well, that's a Matsuma. No, that's not a Matsuma. Somebody else would say, that's a yada yada or whatever, you know. And I give up. What are you doing here? Hey, dude.
Can I ask a real basic
Absolutely.
question?
Absolutely.
How do you actually start with the grow bed?
Okay. You know, how do,
You put, I heard you say you put a filter in, and then you put a liner.
That's what I've been waiting on.
More than a window spot.
Oh, I know.
the food tank. Okay.
Right.
I'm just going to draw a square tank here. It can be any kind of tank you want it. Okay. It's going to have some minimum sizes to it. Number one is minimum is 10 inches in height. It must be at least 10 inches in height. Now, and I'm going to explain that in just a minute. Okay. As far as length and width is irrelevant. But know this, that the filtration system will only handle the, let me get the filter. I have a lot. Fortunately, I brought it over here. Ain't much to that, is it? I'll show it to you. That same hardware cloth that we talked about. No, actually, no, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It's actually the same material that you've got on the floor right here, just a cheaper version.
And
So
it's
this is a
what?
landscape fabric?
Landscape fabric, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's the term I'm looking for.
Okay.
And then I have to have this metal specially made because you can't buy it anywhere, it has to be made. Okay? And then on the back side, these two lines spray water at this angle. Okay? At 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So it's sitting like this. Alright? Now, nothing can go through this except peat and products that are small. Okay? And water.
Right. And that won't affect the pump. It won't
Right.
clog
So
the
it'll
pump.
never
Okay.
clog. Plus, you've got those holes in there, every 4 inches apart, that are blowing at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock and cleaning everything below this.
Oh,
So everything coming up, remember that upwelling we talked about?
Right.
That's
It's
what this causes.
pushed down.
That's
Okay.
what this is. This causes the upwelling. And it pushes the water up through it.
Okay.
And the water comes up here and attaches to those fibers on the inside. And that is where your bacteria grows.
Okay.
Okay? So you never, ever clean this. Ever.
Okay.
The first time you clean it, you just
You'll
kill your
wipe
fish.
out the bacteria. Okay.
Wipe out the bacteria, it's going to take you 6 more weeks to get started again. Well, actually, your water will have them in about 2 weeks.
What is the orange underneath the landscape
That's
fabric?
just a fabric.
Okay.
So
It's
it's a
another
plastic
fabric.
fabric.
I was going to ask you, why is that orange fabric in there?
Because bacteria, let's look at it.
I don't want to jump ahead, but I saw
Fred,
that too.
You have, okay, you can buy these little clay balls to put in your food tank, okay, and grow your food in this type of medium, which would replace this filter, and that's fine. But the drawback with the clay balls is you've got a ball here. So where's the bacteria growing on this ball?
It's on the outside.
On the
Okay.
bottom half of it.
No, it's going all the way around. All the way around. All the way around, just like this. What's all this space?
Okay. So
What's growing there?
you've increased your surface area for the bacteria by adding the orange open mesh. Okay.
So I've got a flat surface, basically flat, that's convoluted somewhat like this.
Okay.
Okay? Now, my bacteria is growing and on the inside.
So you just increase surface area.
I increase the surface area.
Okay.
Right. I did what nature does. Okay?
You mean that the clay balls are not the best stuff on the market to use?
Fred, I would never
But
say
they're
that.
not cheap.
Somebody's
I want you
toy.
to use what you want to use.
No, I'm just going by what the hype was.
Now, Fred did tell me how much he said he put in 6 bags of clay balls, and you paid $40 a bag. That's $240.
We still have one bag.
As well as selling the Pixie-Class.
Any takers?
This is $89 retail. and I'll ship it to you free.
What's 89? Your
But
little
how
system
many,
right there?
how many of these do you need for what size?
For the same system he's got. So he's 160 and 18, $178. It never dissipates, never waterlogged, never has to be cleaned, and it's $68 cheap.
And algae grows on the balls.
Yeah,
Where does this go?
in the bottom. That's where we're going to next.
Getting way ahead.
Well,
That's where we're going to next.
I know.
But
just
What do you put on top of it?
He's gonna tell us.
that's what I'm about to show you.
I've asked for the basic of how to start, and that's what he's
Okay.
talking about.
So, let's use the tote, the IBC tote as the example, okay?
Okay.
Because it's the cheapest way out. So, the IBC tote, we cut it in 10 inches tall here, okay?
Which one?
So what we did,
okay, back
This is
up.
one
Are we
right
talking
here.
about what the plants are growing in?
Yes.
We're not
Yes.
talking about the fish.
right, we're
No.
talking about the food tank.
Okay.
Okay, so what we did is we cut it 10 inches. Now this is 2 inches, 2 and 4 inches thick. Okay, so now right here, in reality, on that tank out there, it does this,
Okay.
okay? And so we put these two filters, we can run them this way, or we can run them this way, doesn't matter. We put one over here and one over here, doesn't make any difference.
Now, are we looking at both of them, or are we looking at a single?
The single
We're
one,
just looking at the top one.
the
Okay.
top
It's the
one.
top tank. The bottom tank is down here, okay?
Okay.
It's down here. We ain't got this yet. We're just looking at the top tank.
But the two, okay, the two totes. That's what we're saying.
No, no, no.
Okay.
The white one's over there.
The white.
Oh, the white one.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the very
Yes,
back.
the IBC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
That's the one we're looking at, okay?
Okay.
Now,
I'm just a little slow.
so what we're gonna do
I didn't know what they were either.
is we
This is
come back
330
and
gallons.
we put
Okay.
2 of these filters in there, okay?
Okay.
So we've laid them in there.
Awesome. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
and both of them have a pipe like this, running all the way through it.
I assume that they're the right width to where they'll fit in those countersunk places.
Yeah, they're pretty
there.
close, so about
Yeah.
16 inches. They're pretty close. But in any event, they're those 2 pipes. Now, if you took this and made a top view of it, okay, this would be your filter. Your pipe would be sticking out here like this. Just like this. Okay. You see the top of the pipes. Okay. And
Okay.
if we laid them side by side, okay, then we can connect them together by several means. Now, we want an even amount of water going through them. So we'll take one piece of pipe and 2 90s, okay, and we'll hook them together, just like this, and then we'll put a T on there, and this T comes straight up, just like this,
Okay.
okay? So you see that pipe over there right now, see that one going straight up on the outside, there's another one going straight up on the inside, okay? And that's this one right here, okay? And so it comes up, we've connected these 2 together right here. But this one isn't connected and this one isn't connected. So we go on the other end, okay? On the other end over here, and we connect,
Oh, connection
we
outside.
connect this
Those
one,
two.
Yeah.
okay, to this one. We put a cap here and a cap here. Now the whole system flows together, okay?
So
We
you
can connect
cap the
them.
2 inside ones?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, and so the whole system flows together. Now, we can regulate that with this valve that we put up here. You see the valve right up there on the top. We put that valve up there. And now we can turn this valve and we can regulate how much water comes into this tank. Right? Okay. Now, there's a cap right here. It's on the top of the tank, but when you cut it and turn it upside down, there's a cap underneath there.
Okay.
Now, most people go in there and they put a 2-inch fitting in there and they screw it in there and they do all that. I don't do that. I go in there and I knock the hole out in the middle of it and just let it drain right into the tank. I don't need a 2-inch fitting. What I want to spend $2 on a 2-inch fitting, I don't need.
Okay.
Like that one.
So
You can really say this way.
the water comes in here, like this, goes through this valve, comes down, goes into here. It sprays down at the bottom and comes up, upwelling. Okay, current. Okay, the water does not go through here, very little, and the water coming back doesn't go through there, very little. But all of the water touches that filter on the inside, and that's where the bacteria grow.
So are there holes on the top of those pipes?
Each one of those pipes,
Okay.
see all the holes?
See the
At
little
4
bitty
o'clock,
tiny sprayer
I see
hose.
those
4 o'clock and 8 o'clock.
I didn't see them before.
Okay?
So the holes are shooting water into the bottom of that
Of that
tank,
tank.
and it's just draining out the center of the 2-inch
Remember,
cap.
remember the euphotic zone?
Yeah.
Remember the upwelling?
Yes, sir.
And remember the sludge that goes down to the bottom? We want to bust that sludge up, so we use those little things to it.
Gotcha.
Okay? And we bring it right back up and we get new nitrogen.
You know something we use? Of course, we're YouTuber, but for our pond at the lake is, at Lowe's they have those furnace filters that are like, you know,
The
thick.
blue ones?
Yeah, they work actually pretty darn good.
$7 a piece, man.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and you know what? They work really good for getting sand out. I like them to clean the water and sand.
Yeah.
If you let the water run through them and filter through them, but you have to clean them.
Well,
But
we
they-
weren't cleaning ours. We were just leaving them in there and letting them
But
just
they'll
work
make
kind of
that
like this.
they'll make that water crystal clear. Yeah, they're pretty. But yeah, $7 a piece, and they rot too.
They biodegrade.
Is that one? I'm sorry. Biodegrade. They rot. Get a hold of one. After a month or two. But yeah, they biodegrade. And so now you come to the important part. You come to the bottom of the tank. You come to the animal tank. This is where your water and your fish live.
How do you regulate the depth of the water in the grow bed?
How do I regulate the depth of the water in the grow bed?
Yes, sir.
This valve right here is a 2-inch opening. This is a 1-inch opening going in. No matter how much water I pump through that 1-inch opening, I can't pump enough to outrun that 2-inch pump valve. Okay? The water level will run about 3 to 4 inches from the bottom. All the time. Okay?
You mean it pumps water in faster than it can drain out?
Yes, sir. I know that sounds confusing, but you got to understand that you've got 7 square feet at the bottom of that tank with this cloth on it.
Oh.
And that water this is semi-permeable. And that water goes through here very slowly. It took a while to find the right cloth. So, fish live down here. Okay? Here's your pump. Right here in the euphotic zone. Okay? Here's your water level up here. This is your euphotic zone, that EU zone that we all talked about earlier. And here's your pump sitting over here, pumping this little heart out, and running this water right up into that line. Okay? Nitrites going down when things die off, or plankton dies, or gets eaten, or the fish poop it out, or pee it out, or whatever you want to call it, provide bodily waste. It all goes down here, and pump, because now you have to cause a current in here. You've already got a current in this one, but you don't have a current down here. So how do you get a current down here? You take a pipe. You put those same 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock holes in it. 2 or 3 sides around this tank. 2 or 3 sides around. It comes off of this valve right here. And it goes to that pipe. Okay? And it goes around, comes up this way and back across the front. That's all you need. About 3 sides is all you need. And you've got holes all the way around that. That's forcing this water down, creating a vortex, and causing upwelling.
Now, is this a pipe, the horizontal pipe that's in the animal tank?
Uh-huh.
It's below, okay,
He had this on when we came in, it's spraying down.
okay.
Right?
Yeah. And the same principle around that tank. You see there's a rubber hose with holes in it.
Yeah.
And if you go down there and you look at that tank down there, you'll see that there's a piece of PVC pipe that goes all the way around the, or three sides of it on the inside with holes in it, spraying down. And that causes your water to upwell.
But it puts oxygen in it too.
Absolutely. And fish like that.
Great.
They love it. And so, it comes out to be a complete system. And so now you've created, what you've done,
You're too fast.
He's gonna cry.
He was fixing to take a picture of that.
oh, I'm sorry.
I got it on video.
It's all right, I know where
You
you
got it on
live.
video. But let's take an acre of land, okay? You got an acre of land here. Got some trees growing up here. Got a little lake. And there's another tree. Somebody built a fence over here. And anyway, down here, this acre of land, this is 100 feet deep, okay? It's 100 feet in the ground. Now we got bedrock down here. We've got some gravel. We've got some oil or some kind of tar or some kind of waste or something from some animals that died 1 million years ago or whatever in there. And we've got some sand. And then wait, here's an aquifer. There's some water aquifer right here. And then here's some more sand and some clay. And then we get up here to the topsoil. Okay? And here's the trees growing in the topsoil. Now, if we took that and we shrunk it down to 1 square foot, okay? We took that 44,000 square feet and shrunk it down to 1 square foot. This is what you'd have. You would have some bedrock. You'd have some gravel. You would have some oil, plastic. You would have an aquifer, the water coming in. You would have some sort of barrier layer, sand or clay or whatever. Then you would have your soil above that, and then your plants growing above that. So how is this different from nature? It's not. So do we have to make any changes down the road? No. We're doing exactly what nature is doing. We're growing the way nature grows. We're just being more efficient at it.
What's your life cycle of the soil? Can
The
it
soil
continue it?
lasts forever.
It will?
It's continuous. Because you're always adding nutrients to
Right,
it.
right.
And you're always pulling nutrients out of it. It's a recyclable product. That's the only time the soil becomes recyclable. And it still works the same way on the earth. But if you sit there and grew corn year after year after year after year after
Right.
year and didn't put the nutrients back in there that the corn took out, eventually you won't get any corn. But this is replacing the nutrients every single time, every single day. No matter what that plant takes out of there, it's replaced the next day because that fish did it. You come by and say, oh, fire a little fecal projectile somewhere, and ate whatever he makes.
He planted broccoli,
Uh-huh.
and it got up about this tall, and it made little broccoli heads, and then it went to seed,
Started blooming.
started blooming.
Uh-huh.
So why did it not, was it the size of the area,
You know,
not getting enough sun?
that's probably a question I could not answer. I mean, I could try to
You
have
don't-
some
A lot of
kind
ours
It's a
have
cold
very much,
crop.
Does
Well,
it not, maybe not getting enough sun in the greenhouse or what?
Or just flower.
He had a grow light.
Hot.
I don't know, I really don't know.
They just flower out.
Yeah.
They don't get big enough if they're, if
I
it's
wish
too,
I did.
if it's too
But
hot, they
That's
won't,
certainly something to
they
research.
won't make.
But usually when you get a low yield or
Because they
it's
flower
usually
out when
nutrient
it's
based
too hot.
Okay.
for low yield. The plant didn't get the nutrients it needed to make its product, or the plant was feeding more itself than it was
I've grown broccoli.
Well, you were putting
There was
fish
no
emulsion,
fish anymore.
but you put fish emulsion in at one time.
Yeah, I used fish emulsion in hopes that that would
No,
do what it was
Okay.
supposed to.
It'll start
it doesn't.
not enough fish and you didn't have any fertilizer.
Yeah, right.
So the plant,
They
No-
look
no
good, but they
nourishment.
didn't.
it had great infrastructure,
Brussels
but
sprouts
no
are the
crop.
same way.
Okay.
That explains
I
that.
got Brussels sprouts.
That would be my best guess.
Right.
But I,
And
like I
then
said,
when it
I'm
was
not,
too hot,
by no means am I an
they were,
expert.
they were
We
just
watched them
tiny,
every day.
like little
Yeah.
peas.
But not, by no means, everybody understand this, I am not an expert, okay? I don't even have a teaching certificate, okay? Yes, sir.
I, for one, am glad you're actually teaching me something. Because I didn't want to come over here and then, be forced to buy something afterwards because, you taught me all this information. You're genuinely teaching me something that I can use.
You're not buying the coat?
And I want to tell you, and I want to tell you something else too. I don't want you to buy anything from me. You don't have to. You don't have to spend any money in my facility whatsoever. And anytime you have a question or you have a problem and you need some help and I can help you, I'll be happy to do it. Now you're going, well, why in the world would he do that? Because someday you might tell somebody that wants to buy something from me. Wouldn't that just tickle me pink?
Yeah, that's a good business plan because there are so many people out there. There's a lot of people that are not willing to put forth the effort to actually invest and do that themselves from scratch. And if you have a kit built, you're just filling that niche. You'll have more work than you can ever possibly have just by filling that niche.
Yeah.
And still providing the information for free
Right.
and getting it out there.
I could go out there and say, hey, yeah, that kit cost $3,295 because I've got to get back my $100 and some odd thousand I spent here. I've got to get back all the 5 years of research I did that I paid for. I've got to get back all of that, and it's not going to happen because I don't know, and I'm going to be as honest as I can with you. I don't know a single person that would spend $3,200 for that over there when they can go over there to Tractor Supply just like I did and buy the pump and buy the tanks and buy all the parts and build it themselves.
Because some people don't have the capacity or skill level to do
And
it.
I'll
Yeah,
teach them.
there will be
I'll teach them how to do it if they want to do that.
And that's what I am very grateful for today because I wanted to come out of here with something that I could use.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much what happened.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm very happy.
The main
That was-
thing is have
that
a
was the goal.
willingness to
I
want
brought
to do
my
it.
brand new camera too.
Hey, nice
I know all
camera.
y'all got this on video. I'll have this on YouTube, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
great.
How do I find
Yeah.
it?
Well, I'll put it under. I'll figure out the name later.
But you gotta link it to his
Can we
website.
start over? Any other questions?
Yeah, so what goes on top of this?
Dirt?
Dirt goes straight onto this?
Well, you know,
Certain
I told
kinds
you,
of dirt?
remember I told you that we needed some fabric?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to show you this height on it.
He's going after, yeah, fabric. I'll show you some fabric.
Why didn't I go no? Now, you cannot get this at that line. You have to go to Lowe's. It's $9 at Lowe's, 50-foot rolls. Now, if you buy the $20 roll, you can. And it'll do the exact same thing this one does, maybe a little better than this one does. But, I bought the $9 roll. Forgive me for not splurging. Take this right here. Goes up the side of your tank. And this goes up the other side of your tank. And
You're basically
it's not big enough, so I got to make two pieces. So I took 7, 8 foot 2 times. So I use 16 foot of this roll. If you don't need the rest, bring it to me. I can use it.
Now you're saying you got to put this stuff over this before
No,
you
no,
put in.
the,
You
the,
line
the
the-
line in this. over
You
there.
line the food tank
The food tank with this.
before
What
you
you-
put
I
your
thought that's what that
soil.
white stuff was with your line.
That's the
No,
animal
no,
tank.
that's just
That's
for the
the
animals.
animal tank.
That's the animal tank.
You're talking about the one that was the growth tank.
Yeah.
Grow bed.
Now, there's,
I hope you're keeping
There's-
this.
So we're keeping the dirt from getting packed up all around this stuff.
we're
down there.
keeping the dirt from coming out from
Right.
through here
And going underneath.
and coming out
to
that
the-
hole,
Plants and
dirtying all your water up worse than what it already is now.
Okay.
And not only that, but you're causing a lot more sludge down on the bottom, and you're causing a lot more headaches.
Okay.
So we want to prevent all of that. So basically, we're lining our pond with clay, and this is our clay.
Did
And
you
what
see any
keeps it
benefit
there?
to putting pea gravel under here?
Okay. It's extremely important to know that you must have space
For the water to get
to
out.
move. The water has to be able to move. So you have to have space for it to move. So if there's no space under here and it laid flat on the bottom, it would not work. It took me a year to figure that out. Boy, I sure feel stupid now. But I mean, it did the first year. I could not figure that out. That little bit of airspace, that 2 inches of airspace, is all the difference in the world.
Okay, so when you put the liner in,
And put your soil in right on top of it.
just put the soil in, and you don't have to have anything to hold it up on the sides because the soil's
The
going
soil's
to be
gonna hold
deep
it
enough.
up. Well, it kind of just hangs over the side.
Oh,
But you can
okay.
cut it off real neat, and you can put some fancy tape on there or trim, and you can make it look just as pretty as you want.
Linda?
But me,
I'm already thinking about how not to make my Aquafarm look
Now she's gonna make me.
We're gonna have our pipes going 40 feet out towards the backyard, like away from the pond.
40 feet.
Well, I don't want it to be right,
So
something
you're
like
gonna,
that.
you're gonna need a truck for a pump, right? No, it won't be. That's 40 feet. Now, let's talk about pumps. These pumps, I'm not gonna give you the names of them because I don't know the names of them. And I
They're
wouldn't.
called little pumps.
Little pumps,
Little
geological pumps. Okay. Nice little pump, pumps about probably 500 gallons an hour. Shaft boat. Made out of plastic. $60 pump. Made out of plastic. $140 pump. Got a leak in it. Destroyed it. You know how old this pump is?
A year.
3 months.
Oh.
3 months. You can buy that pump for $139 right there at any one of those websites. Like I said, there's 3 pumps out there. Laguna, County Line, and Danner is the best. That's the 3 pumps.
What?
Danner is the best pump you can buy.
Danner.
Finding it is a nightmare.
Danner,
Danner
and
pump?
then
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
The Danner pump. They have a 5-year warranty on them. They're $200, and they have a less than 1% failure rate.
But you said there were 3 of the best, 3
They're
good
free.
ones?
The second one is County Line, which you can buy at Tractor Supply. It's $74.95 for the thermoplastic casing. There's one in each one of those 2 tanks there. They also have an aluminum casing one, which is $99. It has pumps the exact same amount of fluid, and it's the same submersible pump, oil-based submersible pump. You want an oil-based submersible pump. You don't want one that's a sealed unit like these. You don't want those because they just don't last. The ceramic in them wears. If you've got something spinning at 3,400 RPM and nothing to hold it but a magnet, and I promise you that this pump is not set to tolerances that would prevent it from just touching the sides every once in a while. Every time it does, it wallows it out. And eventually it starts rattling, and then it quits pumping. 3 months later, and then you go, hey, I need to get another pump. This pump ain't no good. You have a 1-year warranty on it. Okay, well send it back to us. 3 months, I think, I waited for the first one. After that, I didn't send any more back. I just didn't buy them.
That's not the one you told me to buy. is it?
I have 2 of the ones you bought. They're right there in that tank. There's one right there, one in that one over there.
Well, if you got 2 of them, then what have we got this one sitting here for?
He's
it's
demonstrating how
garbage.
they were bad.
This is one. These are the ones. This is the stuff I bought before I was enlightened.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the stuff I bought before. Now here, granddaddy, 6,000 gallons an hour. No, this is a
Is
monster.
that the $200 one?
No,
Well, this is the bad.
this one's only about 150 bucks. But
It's not
as you
good
can
either.
see, it opens real easy. And
It's a plastic.
free as a bird. Spins good. But it got wet.
Oh no.
Somewhere in there, it got wet. And it blew starter, and it blew the solenoid out. There's a starter switch in there. And I turned the motor. It blew that starter switch.
None of it.
But when it did that,
He doesn't have
No,
the
you
starter
got
switch
two
blew,
back under
and it
them.
vibrated so much it got water into the motor itself. And so we destroyed the motor. And all we've got now is a really nice thermal plastic housing here that spins real cool. But that's about all it gets. So it's junk.
Use it to entertain yourself while you're watching the boob tube.
Yeah, yeah, it just gives me something to spin, you know. And right. And then the greatest thing of all, over there in that box right over there in that corner is the clarifiers, the UV protectors, the ultraviolet lights that's supposed to kill algae, but
It just zaps it right out of the water.
I got probably $5 grand tied up in those, and I'll sell them all right now for free. Not 2,500. Because they're useless. Absolutely useless. A bulb. If you ever blow a bulb in water, you see what I mean. The bulb costs as much as the system does. But for some people they work. Me, I just don't have that kind of ultraviolet thumb, I guess. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what time it is.
20 minutes early.
Oh, good. You still got time. So, greenhouses. The only advantage of a greenhouse is, now these greenhouses, they come with these plastic ends and zippers on them and everything else. But no, I couldn't do that. I went and got some concrete blocks and covered it with concrete with different colors and bought a bunch of wood and made sides and everything. Spent about $3,000 or $4,000 doing all that. And because I thought it looked better.
Well, it does.
But had to do it again. I probably just use them plastic ends. A lot cheaper. And they come with the kit. I mean, why do you want to spend an extra $4,000 just because you're vain, I guess would be the word. A little too vain. But anyway, so anybody got any questions?
When's the next class?
When do you want it to be?
We'll probably have another question or two by the next
Well,
week or week after.
I think what I want to do
No,
next
not
is
the-
I'm going to go talk to Bo. And I did talk to him today. I called him on the phone and I said, hey, Bo, what if all of the people that come to my class tonight wants to buy one of your totes over there? How much is that going to cost them? And he said, well, if you buy a truckload now, I'll let you have them for 70 bucks a piece. I said, Bo, I don't need a truckload. That's 60 totes. I don't need 60 totes. $60 or $70 a piece. I said, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe 6 or maybe 1, maybe none.
What is this?
And so these totes over here, these white tanks.
The white tanks.
How many would you want? 4.
Oh,
What, we go big or go home.
we go bigger go home. So what I wanted to do was next week, I'm going to see if I can't talk Bo out of one of them. Try to get me a free one from him, which I doubt he'll do.
And we could set it up.
And then we'll cut it down, set it up, put it together, and make it happen.
Oh, that'd be good.
Okay? And take one of those and just build it, and that way everybody gets like a little hands-on thing, and they're really easy to make. They take about, it took me about 4 hours to build the first one, but I made a lot of changes there's a lot of video on the internet that you can look at, and it'll tell you how to build those things. You know, and they leave the pallet on the bottom of it. Well, that raises the height of it. And so I took the pallet off, you know, and then they you know, they're taking 2x6s or 4x4s or something, boards, and sticking them underneath them to put the two together. Well, I bolted them together, you know, and took little tie wraps and tied the other end, you know, and little things like that. And so, but I know all the measurements now. So it's like, I know all the pipes are 32 inches long. You know, so I can cut them in a heartbeat, you know, and I'm done. Before, it took me an hour and a half to do that one part. But now I can just cut them right out of my head, you know, it takes a second. So we'll kind of put it together. And what we're going to try to do is build it without glue in the PVC, because we want to be able to disassemble it.
I put mine together without glue,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
And what you can basically do is take that top and just pick it up and turn it this way, bolt it back down, bolt the pallet up underneath of it, put the pump inside of it, wrap it up with that clear paper along with this filters and this cloths and everything else and all the parts you need, and ship it to anybody you want to for $150 anywhere in the United States. And then they'll have their own tank. They'll have their own system. Then all they got to do is take out 2 bolts, turn it sideways, bolt it back down, put in 2 tie straps, take 4 bolts out, and pull the pallet out. They're done. Okay. We're going to do exactly what nature does, but we're just going to help you. That's how we do it. So all of your pumps should run about the same gallon. Whatever gallons you have, they should run through your whole system every hour. Now, as you know, only a half or a third of the water is actually going into this part of it, the cleaning part. The rest of it's going into aeration. But so in reality, it's probably every 4 hours that it runs through this system completely. But it's the same thing with your body's blood. All of your blood goes through your kidneys, but not all of it's filtered. You know, because it can only put so much in there. So the more of these you have, the cleaner your water is, the better your water is for your fish. The more fish you can